You had to sign for that. You had to count the pages. It was counted as you brought it back in, and it was signed for. Why were those people not calling on them for having delinquent classified documents out? We need to find out who ran the skiff in the White House, who runs the skiff on Capitol Hill. We have rules. They're just not listening to them, and I don't...
Well, part of the blame here, remember the National Archives was called in this week, and James Comer, and the story went viral, that in fact the archives were advised by, I guess the DOJ, somebody in the Biden White House, not to answer the oversight questions of Jim Comer and his committee, the House Oversight Committee. So we've got to get to the bottom of that. I will tell you this, and I'm not making excuses for anybody here, because you are 1,000% right. But we're talking about voluminous amounts of material here that are handed out, you know, to varying top officials that have top security clearances. But you're right, the system is broken. Look, I could make this prediction right here and right now. Documents are not going to impact Donald Trump or Joe Biden or Mike Pence. It's just not. Just like it didn't impact Hillary, although the Hillary issue was far more severe because of the 33,000 deleted emails and devices destroyed, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I will say this. When we get to the bottom of the question of money made abroad by the Biden family, I believe, it's my thought, we'll see, and it's an educated guess based on everything I've seen and read, that is their great vulnerability. But, you know, let's see what happens. Time is going to, you know, will they do anything about it? I don't know. I can't even answer that question. And that's how ridiculous things get over time. Anyway, I do appreciate your call, 800-941-SEAN, if you want to be a part of the program. We'll continue.
Greetings, Sebastian Gorka here. For years I've mentioned how much Relief Factor has helped the pain in my lower back. Gary from Ohio shared his experience too. He writes, I tried Relief Factor due to its botanical ingredients to reduce pain in my shoulder, knee and lower back. After just a few weeks, the knee pain was completely gone and the shoulder and back pain were reduced quite a bit. I can now exercise much more comfortably and practically pain-free. Thank you, Relief Factor. After trying Relief Factor, over 500,000 people have gone on to order more, so it looks like a lot of people are thanking Relief Factor. 3 weeks from now, you could be doing the things you enjoy doing. Your first step to becoming pain-free would be to order the 3-week quick start at the reduced price of $19.95. Go to relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. That's relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF.
Texas fees and most third-party services. See T-Mobile.com for details.
Hello, Fremont. I'm Amy Eric, founder of Madison Reed, a hair color company I named after my dog. I started Madison Reed to give you the most gorgeous hair color made with ingredients you can feel good about. You may know Madison Reed for our at-home hair color, but big news. We now have over 80 locations nationwide where we color your hair for you. And now we have a grand opening of our newest hair color bar at salon results without salon cost and time. Let one of our professional stylists take care of you with hair color services from all over color, roots, gloss, highlights, and balayage. Book an appointment with fabulous hair color at our newest hair color bar at Pacific Commons. For a limited time, grand opening special for new clients. Get 20% off your first hair color service at a Madison Reed hair color bar. Visit madison-reed.com/. That's madison-reed.com/Fremont. Try it. Love it.
Stockton, and beyond.
Outreach, but no agreement. Lisa Brady, Fox News. A day after the president and the House Speaker had an Oval Office meeting.
The debt ceiling needs to be lifted without conditions, and so we still stand by that.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre also pressing Republicans to get specific about spending cuts.
I'm going to not pass a clean debt ceiling without some form of spending reform. So there'll never be a clean one.
The House Speaker Kevin McCarthy also says he thinks he and the president can find common ground. Minnesota Democrat Ilhan Omar is the House Foreign Affairs Committee over past statements about Israel, 9/11, and the U.S. military.
This type of poisonous, toxic, double standard is going to complicate the relationship moving forward.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says it's political revenge over Republicans being kicked off committees in the last Congress. Speaker McCarthy denies that and notes Omar is still allowed to serve on other committees. Lawyers for the president's son, Hunter Biden, asked the Justice Department to investigate Trump allies for spreading personal information from his
attorneys sent letters to state and federal prosecutors requesting they investigate the computer repair shop owner who passed along data from Hunter's laptop and Rudy Giuliani, former President Trump's attorney. They wrote there is considerable reason to believe they violated various Delaware laws in accessing, copying, manipulating, and/or disseminating Mr. Biden's personal computer data.
Fox's Rich Edson. In a follow-up statement, though, a lawyer says the letters do not confirm it was Hunter's laptop, instead only addressing the conduct of disseminating what's alleged to be his personal information, the lawyer says, wherever they claim to have gotten it. The FBI may soon search former Vice President Pence's Indiana home. His legal team's contact with federal officials after the recent discovery of classified documents there. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, Power Talk 1360 traffic. Mornings and afternoons from the KFIV Traffic Center.
Southbound 99 in Stockton, slow from Wilson Way all the way to Waterloo. Right now, elsewhere it's actually looking okay still. 205 through Tracy, a 12-minute travel time. 5 between Lathrop and French Camp. For the Valley's most frequent traffic reports, tuned to 1360 AM KFIV.
Real news in real time. Here's your Power Talk 1360 news update.
Good afternoon, I'm Dana Hess. A Modesto man who was arrested on multiple counts of possession Tuesday. A concerned resident found him asleep in an SUV in Oakdale. That's according to the Modesto Bee. Oakdale police officers found guns, drugs, and explosive devices in the vehicle. Oakdale officers arrested Jeremy Michael Goodman, a convicted felon, on 6 charges, including felon in possession of a firearm, felon in possession of ammunition, and possession of an assault weapon, short-barreled rifle, explosive devices, and a controlled substance. 31-year-old was found in the SUV in the 1800 block of Ackley Circle by the T.L. Davis Sports Field on Warnerville Road. Bomb squad determined Goodman had 4 live detonators. Meantime, California is ending the COVID-19 vaccine mandate for kids. KFIV's Julie Ryan.
According to EdSource, a nonprofit education reporting organization, when the COVID-19 state of emergency ends on February 28th, so does the plan to add the COVID-19 vaccine to the list of required vaccinations for children. The mandate was expected to be. The California Department of Public Health says if anything changes regarding K-12 immunizations, it will be addressed through the legislative process. I'm Julie Ryan, Power Talk 1360 KFIV.
A job fair coming up later this month in Columbia College. The event will take place 15th at the college in Quality County. Those looking for a job should dress for success, bring a resume, and be prepared to discuss work experience and skills. College officials say many fields are hiring, including forestry, healthcare, and education. This year's list of nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame once again includes acts not everyone would call rock and roll. Among the 14 nominees are pop artists Cyndi Lauper and George Michael,
Nice,
blues group
Ooh, I
The
like
Spinners,
that.
and hip hop. Data has Power Talk 1360 KFIV.
Depend on Valley traffic reports all day long. Power Talk 1360 First Traffic.
From the KFIV Caltrans Move Over Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle. My company is Blindster.
Hello, Fremont. I'm Amy Eric, founder of Madison Reed, a hair color company I named after my daughter. I started Madison Reed to give you the most gorgeous hair color made with ingredients you can feel good about. You may know Madison Reed news. We now have over 80 locations nationwide where we color your hair for you. And now we have a grand opening of our newest hair color bar at Pacific Commons. Salon results without salon cost and time. Let one of our professional stylists take care of you with hair color services from all over color, roots, gloss, highlights, and balayage. Book an appointment for fast and fabulous hair color at our newest hair color bar at Pacific Commons. For a limited time, grand opening special for new clients. Get 20% off your first hair color service at a Madison Reed hair color bar. Visit madison-reed.com/Fremont. That's madison-reed.com/Fremont. That's the beauty of Madison Reed.
Right. It's way out of trim, hard to fly. It's using two hands and heading toward the clouds. And this guy settled in right behind me.
He made it, but why did it take till this last week for him to get the Navy Cross for his heroics? Find out on Hometown Heroes, Saturday, 6 a.m. on Power Talk 1360 KFIV.
Anyway, the group members were all wearing matching blue hats with the word life. Is that so offensive? That's their deeply held religious belief and conviction. I thought that we had freedom of religion in this country. Anyway, the American Center for Law and Justice has now taken on this case, and they are representing the parents and alleging, in my view, that the museum staff mocked the students, hurled neutral zone where political or religious messages were not allowed. On Twitter, one of the group was approached by a security guard who told them to either take off the hat or leave the premises. Now, her daughter allegedly told the guard that they were wearing it to identify and find one another in the crowd before they were happens again, according to Allison Wood, the museum's deputy director of communications. Anyway, joining us to discuss all of this is Jordan Sekulow, executive director of the ACLJ, the American Center for Law and Justice, and student Patrick Murphy, who was there and lived through this. Welcome both of you to the program.
Thanks, Sean.
Hey, Patrick, how are you? How old are you, Patrick?
Good, how are you? I'm 18 years old.
Okay. Patrick, and I like it so much I named my own son Patrick. So anyway, thank you for joining us as well. Let's get your side of what happened. You were there. What happened?
Yes, sir. So we had the March for Life at about 3:30 p.m. We wanted to visit museums, and we were tired, so we didn't want to go too far, so we walked to the Air and Space Museum. And we got in just fine. We weren't really harassed much of it. We quickly zoomed around the museum about 30 minutes when we ended up in the Wright Brothers exhibit. And at this time...
You know, Patrick, hang on. I'm going to get a better line for you because we're getting a little bit of feedback and an echo. Let me get to the legal side of this with Jordan Sekulow. Jordan, I mean, what we're being described here is nothing but pure discrimination.
Yeah, it happened 3 different times. So what Patrick said, the first time they went, didn't think it was bizarre because they were going through security, and the security guard said you didn't take your hats off to go through security. That one as an issue, but that step was not normal practice for the Smithsonian. When you go through security, they don't mess with that. They don't care if it's a religious hat. If it's a hat to identify, that's really normal for student groups in D.C. to have something matching so that they can be identified and so that they can stay together and people can see where they are. And then the second time through, as they're going through, as he said, an exhibit, 2 more security guards come up, say you've got to take it off, and finally they put their hats back on after security because they noticed everybody else was wearing hats that day, and it wasn't a...
Yeah, and but it looks like a winter hat, like a ski hat. That's what it looks like. It's in a bright blue, so it's easily identifiable. It says Rosary Pro-Life.
So those security guards at the second incident say take it off or leave. One of the students actually said, I think I have a constitutional right to this. And they kind of, again, they didn't want to cops. Like, they were not protesting. They were just attending the museum with their hats on, so they weren't causing any kind of stir. They get cursed at. Get away. I mean, with pretty strong, very strong language. Then ultimately, they're trying to leave. And now we're on our 5th guard. Makes an issue like they're kicking them out. This all happened to a group of about 12 students and their chaperones who decide to visit that museum. Why we've gone public, Sean, with this is not just to get the Smithsonian to say it's against our policies, but we believe there may have been a policy that day that was completely unconstitutional. They know that the March for Life is happening, that these pro-life activists will be there, by the way, legally with permits to do their March for Life, and may attend museums. And if for some reason that day the security decided we're going to target pro-life speech, we're not going to target anybody else's hats, but we're going to target these pro-life students and act like that's our policy. This is somehow, you can't have a religious or political message on a hat at the Smithsonian. So we're not going to let them get away with just saying, what the retraining is. What was the training before that led these officers to think this was okay?
That's such a good question. Patrick, let's go back to you. Now, these hats, as I understand, I have a picture in front of me, so it was like a ski hat and a very bright blue color, which would make it easily identifiable, so you can all find each other, as you mentioned previously, and it says Rosary Pro-Life. That was the main reason, or was it also that you were cold, and it shouldn't matter anyway, in my view?
Oh, it definitely shouldn't matter. It was rather cold, of course. It simply says Rosary on it, as our school is Our Lady of the Rosary. Rosary is a reference to a Catholic prayer. And again, everyone else in the museum